Whew, all right. And welcome again for another Sketchy Saturday where I swear we are not holding these people hostage. They have come of their own free volition.
Allegedly.
Wait, so the handcuffs on my legs are not supposed to be there?
That's a private affair there.
Right.
I can't answer that one. Anyway, welcome again. Once again, we're back on a Saturday morning, up early for most of us, almost all of us here, unless Russ comes in and it's afternoon for him. Isn't he lucky? So, I'm Steve Michael Lanning, independent artist. Done work for Arrow Comics, Hazard Productions, and of course the current Magi's Grace that's on Kickstarter with JD Calderon. Go check that out. And we're going to go around the room. Everybody kind of introduce themselves and tell us what you're working on. I have no idea what I'm working on this morning, so we'll just have to find out. It'll be a surprise.
Maybe you should be doing some Magi's Grace pages.
All right, but I can't do those traditionally. So.
Oh, okay. Jose was just asking.
I'm sure he is. Allison, go ahead. Since you're up at the top.
I'm first. I think it has nothing to do with me having my name begin with the letter A. Always been damned by that. I am working on a cover for my Books of Shadows. My the Books of Shadow. That's what the hell I called it. Just doing my finished pencils on it, which I like to do traditional, and then scan them, ink them digitally and stuff. But I like having things to potentially sell. So that's what I'll be working on.
Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Dudley. I'm the managing partner, I guess that's what they call me, of Imaginos Workshop. We do screenwriting stuff. We do comics and manga type stuff. Just try to have as much fun as we can, man.
Isn't it always?
Exactly.
And of course, last but never least.
Hi, everyone. I'm Daphne. I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, comic book artist, all around something or another. I am the artist of the comic book Tall Tales, which we've been self-publishing since 1992, and I am also the creator and everything on Eagle Raven, Air the First Unicorn, which is my other my other comic that I have mostly on Kickstarter as well. But that Kickstarter doesn't. The next Kickstarter for that's going to be later on this year. So, although Tall Tales does return to Kickstarter on April 8th. So, as you can see, I'm very well awake this morning.
Yeah.
Well awake, very much awake.
Awake is a relative term.
It really is. It really is. And today I'm going to be working on some Eagle Raven sketch covers from my issue 8 campaign, because these are the last rewards I have to send out for this campaign before I close out the campaign completely. So, so I got to get working on that. I got 10 of them to do. So,
hooray!
All right. Hold on just a second.
Oh yes, and there's leaf blowers outside.
Because everybody's up on Saturday.
Can't lose with the leaf blowers.
That is terribly unfortunate that everyone is up that has a leaf blower. Oh. Hmm.
No, apparently I was going to go live on 2 shows this morning, just because I'm multi-talented like that.
Oh no! Did you accidentally double up your?
Somebody double.
I accidentally put AM instead of PM, apparently.
Oh well,
So
but don't you do a show tonight though?
Tonight, yeah, at 9 p.m. or at 10 p.m. Eastern. But I put AM instead of PM.
I thought that's what I saw last night.
Said, crap.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't notice that when I was in the StreamYard last night testing my gear. So then again, I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, no, I don't look at anybody else's. So I just kind of put it on there and then let it go.
Oh, I log in, change all the settings. Just being a general pain in the ass that I am. hell are they doing?
We have our script meetings on Friday, and we got some guys who working on some of my other studio mates. They're working on screenplay, right? So we were editing it last night. It was like, oh, they're not gonna like us.
Oh, really?
They're gonna be real mad at us today.
It's a TV show or a movie?
Yeah, it's a anime. We just trying to we trying to bring up all the rest of our guys up to speed, right? So we give them projects and whatnot that we got in our vault, and so they'll go for it, they'll try it, and sometimes you think they're listening, but they're not listening.
Oh yeah,
They never listen.
What was that?
They never listen.
Yep, they never listen. They think we're trying to beat up on them. It's like, oh no, we're trying to make you better. That's it.
You know what they say? You got to kill the darlings, and then people get.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. That's the main thing right there.
Oh yeah, killing the darlings is like rule number 1 of script writing.
Yeah.
Of like any script.
Yeah, the darlings are only for the first draft.
Right.
The first draft is where you put in everything that you want. And then the editing process is when the knives come out.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Well, I always figured like the first draft, you're just trying to get that emotional connection. You're just trying to get all those feelings out that, of how you want it to feel. And it's never, it's not going to be, you're going to have to tone, change it around, tone it down, whatever the case is. But everything it makes you feel, you just get those out. And usually the first draft should be the easiest to, but that's not always the case.
Well, it's because you're still getting the ideas out. So that's always a little bit harder. But once you have the initial ideas down, then it's a lot easier to figure out what you don't want.
Yeah,
exactly. It's the thing that they we've been really trying to, we want them to be able to do more than just doing comics. I love comics, but I want them to try to be a lot more. I don't say a lot more, but I want them to try to have more options. That's really why, that's really what we're pretty much all about. Because comics, we're always going to do comics and whatnot. But again, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So.
Yeah.
That seems legit.
So the studio itself is just kind of what, like catering to all sorts of art styles?
Well, yeah. Well, we do, like I said, we do role playing game work. We do like pen and paper RPG stuff. We do we do pen and paper RPG stuff. We do comics. We got a whole nother group of guys who do manga and stuff. We write screenplays. We do short films. We're working on something right now. We're trying to get up on Alter. It's in Detroit. There's this legend. Everybody has their New Jersey Devil, right? So, Detroit, we got this legend called the Non Rouge. Okay, so everything bad happens in Detroit, we blame it on the Non Rouge. It's like a demon. So we did a short film based on that legend.
Oh, okay.
Huh. That's pretty cool. This comic actually utilizes a legend in my area.
And that's cool right there. So what's the legend?
Legend is a hitchhiking ghost in Route 44.
What?
Beware of hitchhiking ghosts.
Yep.
They might ask
this
you
one, I believe this actually predates that ride too.
So what's the mythos?
Okay, so basically people traveling Route 44 at night between Rehoboth and Seekonk, Massachusetts. So relatively rural area.
A lot of stuff over there. Yeah.
And we'll sometimes encounter a red-headed figure hitchhiking, and you shouldn't pick him up because he will torment you. Like, just if you pick him up, he'll get into the car and all that. Then, as you're trying to ask him where he's going, he'll just fade away. Or he'll smile at you. Sometimes he'll take over your radio and things. There's a whole bunch of different legends of evil things this thing has done.
That's true. Changing this radio station while you're driving.
Yeah,
That is evil.
That's as evil as it gets.
Straight up evil.
Shotgun does not control the radio.
Nope.
It is along for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been known to be seen for like ever. So
Be glad you're getting there. That's what you better do.
Yeah.
So I had an idea years ago about how to do a story with it. Drew the whole thing, got everything up and running, and then I lost the entire project.
Oh no!
Ouch. Yeah.
And I almost quit drawing and everything after that.
Man, that's horrible.
And now I'm recreating it.
Super sorry to hear that.
Yeah, changed it up a bit. When I originally did it, it was like the only thing supernatural in it was the ghost, but I want to do other things. So I combined a couple of my ideas, and I said, you know what, I'm going to redo it using a bunch of my ideas so I can do like a whole series. So what I've originally done was called 44.
Pretty sweet.
And now the first story is called Urban Legends, and it's 44.
Now you guys in Massachusetts, you guys got a ton of urban legends over there, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll have no shortage of ideas. So, and I did ghost hunting for quite a while with the Society of American Magicians.
With the what?
The Society of American Magicians.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Are they okay? So they kind of take it to. I'm sure they must do more than just ghost hunting if they're considered.
Oh God, we were magicians. But yeah, I was the sergeant of arms for the Society of American Magicians in Massachusetts. And it's basically, you do magic, but
yeah,
Houdini started this whole thing about investigating the paranormal.
Oh yeah.
And we literally use his techniques.
That sounds pretty cool.
In fact, we just went to see Late Night with the Devil the other night.
Oh yeah, I heard that's supposed to be pretty good.
That.
Yeah, it's good, I guess.
Hey, you know what's so funny? I thought that guy was Paul Dano when I first saw him. I was like, man, that's like Paul Dano. That's not Paul Dano.
Oh, who's that?
The
host.
host.
Riddler?
Yeah.
No,
I thought it was Paul Dano at first.
Polka Dot Man. Good morning, Carlos. How you doing?
Yeah, from Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At first I was like, man, is that Paul Dano? Who's that guy? My wife's like, everyone's not Paul Dano. I'm okay.
Yeah, I so want to see that movie. Looks great.
I liked it. I mean, it's very, because it takes place in the 70s. It feels like a very 70s horror film. And,
yep.
And
it's already good.
Yeah, it's because you remember in the 70s you had these low budget horror films. And you had, Rosemary's Baby and so
which my wife watches 1,000 times a week.
Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah,
Rosemary's.
My wife loved that movie. Maybe she's trying to tell me something. I don't know.
Rosemary's Baby is probably one of the best horror movies. Up there with The Omen. I wouldn't say it was second. It's just like that's top tier horror right there.
Daphne, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I thought The Omen was okay, but I wasn't really. I was kind of like, eh.
I don't know. I like The
Exorcist.
I like the whole trilogy as far as The Omen.
Yeah,
is concerned.
I do
Even
too.
the Sam Neill as
Sam Neill and the final countdown. Yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah. There's actually a fourth Omen movie that was, I think, done for television. Yeah, and I remember actually liking that too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, there's not. No, there's not. No. It's kind of like Highlander. There should have been only one.
What? Well,
you know what? Here's the deal with Highlander. Okay, sure, two is what it is, right? But I will give some credit to number 3.
Oh,
I
you mean the
wouldn't
remake
have
of 1?
Yeah. What's the how much can you
It's
do with that,
literally
really?
like a shot-for-shot remake.
But the deal is that at least that would have made a better sequel than the sequel that we got.
And it still sucked.
Maybe there should just be an embargo on sweet sequels and remakes for a while.
Oh my gosh!
You know,
Look,
but it's Hollywood. They're in some kind of like weird nostalgia. There was something funny that someone had tweeted that like Hollywood keeps remaking these movies like like that Dr. Manhattan cartoon that you posted on Facebook,
see
like for like the past 10 years that like we're seeing the same things happening.
exactly. That's what. See, well, that's the thing. I posted that because that meme has come up.
Right.
It wasn't even
Yeah.
about the meme.
Right.
I could care less about the meme. But
Yeah.
my point being was we've seen that meme.
Yeah.
So many times in the
We've been
past
seeing that meme
5
for the
years.
past 10 years.
Got that
And
right.
every time it's a different text.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that might signify a problem here.
Well, exactly. So the point, so the
Minor
whole
problem.
point with nostalgia, right, with the Hollywood nostalgia that we're seeing now, right, is that it's all pretty much all of it based on properties from the 80s. Now, the thing is, though, is that
The 80s and
they're
90s.
creating these movies not for a new audience, really, but
No.
just to keep us going to the theater. I mean, Jose literally just left to go see the new Ghostbusters movie.
See, yeah.
And the tweeter had said that's like there's going to come a point where they're going to hit that wall with that audience where the nostalgia is going to stop working because now you're hitting that audience who grew up on Mr. Beast videos.
Yep.
Well, it's
Now
like,
what are you gonna do?
it's
You know,
like I
they
watched
didn't grow up on Ghostbusters. They didn't grow up on anything else. You know, it's like they
Right.
grew up on YouTube. It's like they're gonna hit that. These are the kids that grew up on YouTube and don't know. You know, it's like don't care what Ghostbusters is. Don't care what Star Wars is. You know, they don't care about this nostalgia because, well, where's the Mr. Beast movie?
don't care what Star Wars is. Stop insulting my religion.
What do you mean?
If they think it passes down like sports, you know, with sports fans, usually their children are the same. You know, they become sports fans of. Oh, I'm not a sports fan, but they become sports fans of the same team that their parents usually are. You know, and it passes down that way. I live in a college town, so I live. next-
I don't know. I really don't see that really happening with movies that much, though.
That's exactly right. Because here's the deal: is it doesn't change up players, it doesn't change up story. It's the same thing over and over again.
right.
And I think they're thinking in their minds, and it's not correctly, but they're thinking in their minds, hey, so this fandom's going to pass down to the next generation and next generation, and it's just kind of like what you guys were talking about yesterday on the blogs. I don't want your crap after you're dead.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's for nostalgia too, along with your stuff.
So I watched the new trailer for the new version of The Crow, and I gotta say, when I first heard about the film, when they were going to shoot it, they're like, oh, we want to do like an accurate interpretation of the comic. I'm like, oh, I want to see that.
At the first,
Right,
That was
which-
way back.
Which
Well,
which
no,
if-
the first one is definitely not an accurate
No,
interpretation.
it is not. It is not.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when they started the project of the reboot. That was the plan. But it had been through so many people that they fired, rehired over and over again. This guy's like, whatever.
Right.
It's pretty much what it came down to.
That's what I wanted, though. It's like actually do the comic, and that would be interesting. And I had to go and represent Boston sports.
I mean, isn't it funny though that it's like they want, on one hand, to cash in on the nostalgia, but then at the same time, they don't want to give the audience anything.
Of course.
Yeah, because they have no interest in a remake of the original movie. That's
Right.
Brandon Lee's last film. Leave him alone. He died
Right.
to make that damn movie, and it was really good.
I think what happens on that is they want to cash in on nostalgia, but then it hits kind of that that wall of the person being an artist or being a director that wants to make it their own.
Yep, and that's usually that's exactly what
Yeah.
right there, exactly.
So then you don't get the exact interpretation anymore. You get the director's interpretation with the crow slapped on it or whatever the case.
Yep, that's exactly
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, Jared Leto's Joker slapped on it? Oh, wait.
It looks like John Wick crow. Is what it kind of looks like to me.
Well, I mean, he's an unstoppable force, kind of like John Wick, except for the problem is he could kick the shit out of John Wick because he doesn't die.
Right. Yeah.
My issue with it though is I wanted the more accurate interpretation where the crow doesn't mean what it did in the movie, and even then, it wasn't supposed to mean what it did in the movie.
Right.
They had to change things because, well, somebody had to go and die.
Well, but
We want the
even
skeleton
then,
cowboy and
the story wasn't accurate, even if Brandon Lee didn't die in the movie.
No, but
I really didn't appreciate that. Was one movie where I really didn't appreciate the changes, but I understood why they did it, but I didn't appreciate it because I felt like it took away the power of the story. And
Yeah.
the main thing that they changed was they made the attack that creates the crow something extremely specific. So like, the wife was acting up because she was like a tenant activist. So of course they murdered her. While
Instead
in the
of just being on
comic,
the side of
it's
the-
just a random attack
a
that could have
random
happened to anybody. And I think they changed it because no one in the audience wants to be reminded that violence can visit on them at any time.
See,
Also, too here in
that's why I wanted the that's why I wanted the remake to be accurate because I wanted that.
Because, and I think that was the important part of the story, that this could have had the crow could have been anyone.
Yep.
Also here in Detroit at the same time, we had actually that a lot of that was going on.
Yep.
Like tenant activism.
Oh yeah,
it was horrible. There was people with a lot of squatting going on downtown. It's funny because you come to Detroit now and you look at Detroit of the 90s. It's like it's literally 180 degrees in terms of the space and whatnot, but which is a good thing. But boy, it was all sorts of crazy. And Devil's Night. I don't know if you guys have heard ever if you guys know anybody else who lives in Detroit, but Devil's Night used to be a motherfucker for us, boy. They burned this whole city down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember hearing something about.
I remember hearing about it in the news and things. Obviously, I wasn't out there or anything for it, but I knew Devil's Night was inspired by a real thing. So
Devil's Night was something else, boy. Whew.
But yeah, that was just something I enjoyed about the comic. Also, the movie was interesting because the reason why he was able to be hurt is he was working for the living. There's actually some cut scenes in it that still, well, they're not cut, but if you're paying attention to the movie, you pick up on certain things that when he does something to help the living. Yes, I know, Kat, you want to get involved. Yeah. When he goes to help Darla, she slashes him with a razor. And if you look later in the movie, his hand is all taped up. It's because it didn't heal. Because he was doing something to help the living.
He wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing.
Right.
Huh.
And that's where the vulnerability was supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be anything to do with shooting the damn bird. The bird had nothing to do with it. It was the fact he was trying to save Sarah. He was helping the living.
But that's subtext that they feel that the audience can't figure out on their own.
They actually changed a lot of it because of the what was it? Because he died. Because it was supposed to be that he failed, that he did not get his happy ending.
Right.
There was supposed to be a trilogy of movies. But that because
Matthew says I need to tell you that your friend turned me into a furry.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
Well, I guess they try to pull that off with the series.
Yeah.
Trying to get back. But I'm kind of glad that it didn't become a series of movies.
Yeah.
I always figured it like this. As far as the Crow's concerned, it's a property. If they did it right, which obviously a lot of people felt like they didn't do it with City of Angels, but
No.
if you did it right, you could have carried that on with different stories of unjust murders and killings like that, and the Crow bringing people back instead of just sticking to one character.
Yeah.
Well, I think nowadays, thanks to the whole concept of a multiverse that that Disney has put into the consciousness, into the cultural consciousness, that I think now, if they were, well, we don't know if, well, they're doing. I don't know anything about the Crow movie now, the new one, and I don't really care to. But the idea of not having to be dedicated to the same actor for a bunch of movies, I think is something that Hollywood would definitely embrace.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you could have seriously done this Crow movie in that vein. I know that they've had a lot of failed attempts, but you could have done it in that vein. And if you really wanted to attach it back to Eric Draven, you could have, and it could have still been faithful to the 94?
94. I mean, technically
94
it was 92 when it was filmed, but yeah.
Yeah, but then everything, yeah.
Yeah, then everything went to shit. The other thing with Crow City of Angels, he was supposed to fail in the end. That he was supposed to continue on. And if you read the Dark Horse comic book that interpreted the movie, they followed the original script where he fails. He does not rejoin his son in the end.
Oh. I didn't know that they made an adaptation of it, or was it?
Yep, they adapted it. And it's, I have to say, the Dark Horse comic was better than the freaking movie.
Well, they added Dark Horse.
Well, they added Sarah into it from the first one, and it was like that was really not necessary at all.
No, it wasn't. And it basically, then when they killed her off, I was pissed. I was like, Jesus Christ! Now they killed her off in the Dark Horse adaptation too of the script because she was part of the script from very early on.
Well, yeah.
But it's still like, really, you didn't need to do this. Stupid. But hey,
well, no, they never connected it really. Like I said, I always talk about this, and I'm sure if you've read anything on my Facebook, you're probably tired of hearing it from me. But I always felt like you could have done. Poppy Z. Bright wrote a Crow novel.
Yes, she did.
And it was basically his lover was killed. He got blamed for it. He went to jail. He was put on death row, was killed for it. Crow brings him back to avenge, his lover's death.
Yeah, it's called Crow Salvation. It's the third movie.
See, I heard that, but but what was he doing? Did he do that, or did he go after the judges and the lawyers that put him?
He went after all the corrupt cops, and everybody was corrupt who was part of it.
See, in the Poppy Z. Bright version,
I know the Poppy Z. Bright version is better.
Yeah, he's going after the judge. He's going after the lawyer and stuff. Whether they're crooked or not had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it was just revenge.
Yeah. And so basically he's going through this whole revenge thing and is getting shot up and is bleeding out because he's not doing the right thing.
Right. No, I like that.
Yeah, it's a far better take on the story. I showed you. Oh, go ahead.
No. I just think that nowadays, it's like, I'm not sure if it's kind of like a chicken and an egg thing where it's like it's the studios creating this environment, or whether people are becoming more and more obtuse to storytelling like that. Where there's a lot of nuance, and no, it's like just because a person is the main character doesn't mean that they're the good guy. The idea that that revenge might be the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
you know, you know, that maybe a story has a little bit more nuance than this is the good guy and this is the bad guy. Like, I'm not sure, like, because I've been seeing something similar in traditional publishing where like people like just want their hand held throughout the entire narrative. Like they want everything spelled out for them. Like they can't even like in traditional publishing, there's this whole like trend of everything having to be in first person because they don't want like it seems like that they don't want to read a third person narrative because then they have to think a little bit too hard about putting all the pieces together, because they're seeing multiple views of the same scene from different characters, and they just want first person because I'm just in this one person's head and I don't have to think about it. and I'm kind of I just don't know whether like this is just something where people are being failed at a certain level or whether
They're asking for it.
whether this is something that they like another trend is like low stakes or no stakes narrative where it's literally like people sitting and talking in a coffee shop. Like take the ending to the first Avengers movie and make that the entire movie.
Yeah, no.
It's like everybody just sitting around eating shawarma, and I'm not sure if that has something to do with the weird decision making we're seeing in storytelling right now.
Well, the thing is, like movies, for a while now, script writers aren't being allowed on set.
Nope.
So what's happening is they're not being allowed on set. So, okay, I'll give you a example. The Batman script where Joker kills Batman's parents in Tim Burton's Batman. I just saw something recently about the script writer saying, I didn't do that.
Nope.
I argued that all the time with Tim Burton. And the reason he got away with doing it was because there was a writer's strike at the time and I wasn't able to be there.
Right.
So I think these guys... So I don't want to blame the writers on that, not having the subtext or not having that thing, because I think the director or whoever is, or the producer, whatever is going out there, well, we want to make sure our audience understands this and just put it out there and do it.
Right.
Once that director, see, this is the thing, the difference between Hollywood and between TV and film, right? So the TV director, the film, the director has all the power. Okay, so even if they had the writer on, let's say they had to run the writers let's say they got one of the writers on set. What happened? Again, if there's a good collaboration, then he's going to listen to the writer, or whatever. Writer's going to have some say if it's a good collaboration, which it usually isn't. To be honest,
not anymore.
Nope,
no, absolutely
right.
not.
But for TV though, unless you're Disney, or Netflix, the writers got all the power in TV.
Yep. Completely have all the power because they'll be like, no, we don't like the way this guy's taking our script and we have to keep writing the series.
Trust me. But the thing with TV is this though. If you
worked in TV, I understand.
Okay. Well, you understand. So what do you do in TV?
I worked for WGBH.
Okay.
I did a combination of keeping them on the air and I edited the trailers.
Okay.
Basically all the TV spots for everything.
Okay.
I edited those in. But I was familiar with a lot of stuff going on in the industry, so because I was there.
Okay.
And I saw it.
But when you have a series and you have multiple directors come on there, you I get what you're saying, Mark. You kind of have to have a.
Well, it's the showrunner, who runs the show on TV.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Showrunner is usually a combination director / scriptwriter.
Yeah, they didn't used to get a lot of credit. I think that just recently happened recently, it's been a little while, but I think Joss Whedon kind of broke that mold, huh?
Joss Whedon / J. Michael Straczynski with Babylon 5.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's about what I'm saying.
Yeah, because he basically wrote almost every episode in the fourth and fifth season. Unfortunately, he wrote like every episode in the fifth season.
That's a bad thing? I watched Babylon 5 here and there when I was younger. I haven't gone back and watched it. I remember I enjoyed it.
I love Babylon 5.
That's one of my favorite series.
Same.
I also like the Star Trek version of it.
Oh yeah, Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, the ripoff.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
We're not being facetious, people. That literally is. A judge said that Deep Space Nine is the ripoff of Babylon 5.
Babylon 5. Yeah.
Yes, that's why we had seasons 2 through 4 of Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Uh,
I went back and watched the first episode though, not too long ago.
yeah, that was painful.
I caught up and watched. I'm watching something else, so I'm caught up in that. But I never went any further. But even still, yeah, because you had a different commander.
Well, the commander was fine. Since the first season was, they didn't really get their feet under them until like, basically until they started getting the storyline really going. There was a couple of good one-off episodes, but it really wasn't that. The second season's the season that really started to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did the episode "The Coming of Shadows," that was just amazing. I mean, they won the Hugo with that.
Also, wasn't Babylon 5 the first show to use Maya for the special
They used
effects?
Lightwave 3D.
Oh, Lightwave. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, for somebody who has no idea what that is, what is
good
Maya?
old Amiga.
It's a 3D. It's a 3D animation program.
Okay.
They did all the special effects and everything in it. It was actually the reason I was starting to teach myself how to use Lightwave.
Oh, okay.
Was because of that show. That was the first 3D software I started really playing with.
That and a good old video toaster.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Video toaster, huh?
Right, and the significance of Babylon 5 using it was that here was a television show using what essentially was a desktop program.
Yep.
Yet for their special effects.
Bob, stop it.
I think that the guy who created it, Tim something, he eventually just released the program for free for anybody to use at some point. Or did he do Maya? Hold on.
I can't remember what he went on to do.
I think it was Lightwave that he made his fortune on.
Oh, most likely, yes. I mean, Blender's the free one, so
right.
Lightwave you can still buy. I don't really know if it's really in use as much as it is. I mean, Maya's kind of the industry standard, so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, people are starting to use Lightwave again.
Between a few of them.
Yeah, people are starting to do some things that Lightwave actually does.
Oh, yeah. So Tim Jennison is the inventor and successful founder of NewTek, a company working in various fields of computer graphics, most notably the 3D modeling software Lightwave 3D.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, and the only reason I know him is because I saw him in a document. He did a documentary called Tim's Veneer, where he became fascinated with the paintings of Johannes Vermeer, and he was convinced that Vermeer, the reason why he stood out from all the other Dutch painters of the time, I think in the 17th century, was because he was using a variation of camera technology in order to create very realistic lighting and in his paintings.
I could see that.
And he spent years proving his hypothesis. And he made a documentary about it where he successfully repainted a Vermeer using kind of like a mirror, using like a mirror technique.
Wasn't it like a camera obscura or something like that?
Yes,
Yeah.
And he was, and the thing is, though, it's still theoretical, but what's really funny about the documentary, especially now, like thinking about it in this AI hellscape that we're in, was that there was, at the time when he was doing this research, there was only one other researcher who was running with that theory that Vermeer didn't, that he painted with this mirror tool.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a controversial opinion because people were like literally mad at the idea that, oh, how could an artist use a tool like that? Meanwhile, he's explaining the camera obscura, and every artist is looking at that going, oh, snap, that's really good. I could use that. Right?
And that's what they're making them now.
Yeah, but anybody who wasn't an artist was like saying, oh, no, that's cheating. He wouldn't do that. He's a master and this, that, and the other thing. And it was like, look, it's like, just because a person's a master at their craft doesn't mean they don't appreciate tools to streamline their process.
I've used the camera obscura. I've had fun with it.
So I mean, the fact that any kid could make one.
Yeah.
It's really,
you just download the app onto your phone, you're done.
Yeah, there you go. And so especially now. So it was just, so it's just funny how back then the idea of an artist using technology was just considered, how dare you? And right now it's like we have the exact same people turning around. It's like, oh, this technology does the work for you. We don't need artists anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now it's just a complete flip. But if you're curious about the documentary, it's called Tim's Vermeer. I always recommend that documentary. It's very interesting.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's just nice to kind of see a technology brainiac who actually has an appreciation for art in general.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, I swear, it's like all these tech bros now, they just come off like they just hate the concept of art. They just hate the concept of artists. Like they don't they just hate the idea of anybody being able to do something they can't commodify on their end.
You go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They were saying it's like, oh, AI democratized art. No, it didn't. YouTube democratized art. Because YouTube gave everybody the opportunity to take art classes without having to go to school to do it.
Absolutely.
That's democratizing art. But the thing is, it's like if the hard work is what you have a problem with, it's not the art that's the issue.
That's right. Right.
Hey, I didn't go to art school.
Well, right, yeah, and
Exactly.
Self-taught university.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
I have taken some courses at the Cubert School, but
right, but the thing is that the fact that anybody could just go online, where before it's like, oh, if you want to learn art, you have to spend thousands of dollars going to an exclusive school to do it, and now it's like, oh, you can just watch YouTube tutorials and practice at home, and it's like, look. For everybody in the audience, the only time I was ever asked for my bachelor's degree was applying for low-end retail jobs. Yep. I have never had any art job that people were asked, well, what was your degree in school? No, I've never had that happen. They looked at my portfolio and either I was able to do what they wanted or I didn't, but the degree had nothing to do with it.
Right.
A degree just means you can be taught.
Right.
That's basically it.
Well, honestly, I think the degree just tells them that you were able to sit through 4 years of classes.
Well, because you can deal with that kind of torture.
Right. Because in the end, it doesn't even matter what the degree is.
Yeah, no,
it's like nobody. They say, "Do you have a BA? Do you have a bachelor's?" They never. The next question never is, "What do you have a bachelor's in?" They just, it's just, that's gatekeeping. Yeah. That's gatekeeping.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
part of the club.
Yeah.
In the tech field, I always get asked, like, where did I go to school? What did I study? What's my
reason?
Right.
And whenever I told them, they went, oh, I'm not sure we can afford you.
Ha.
Damn it.
Oh, that old gag.
Yep. We have to give an excuse to pay our money. It's like when I went to work at WGBH, which I consider the greatest job I ever worked at. I took a $50,000 pay cut.
Ooh.
I mean, that's kind of rough. It's like, but you
Worth
took a pay cut
every
obviously
penny.
because you thought it was worth it to get away from your previous job.
Yep, sometimes
That's the
it works.
exact reason I did it.
Yeah.
I was happy. Then MS happened. I wasn't happy.
Well, you know.
Ah, crap.
Well, it's like at my job, there's an electrician. You know, he's a certified electrician. We've never really had one, even though they mess with electricity. I don't want to get into that.
Right.
Anyway, but he's definitely taken a tremendous pay cut to be there because the hours work better in his favor than working at a plant.
Yeah.
But what gets me is they're consistently complaining about how slow he is. And it's like, but you're getting this guy who is a certified electrician at a lower rate than if you have to sub out and get somebody.
Well,
to come
right,
in.
but he's more expensive than George in the corner, who kind of fucks around with electricity, and he doesn't have a permit. But as long as he gets the job done, we don't care if he's just duct taping extension cords in the walls.
Exactly.
I'm not supposed to lick my
I was
fingers
just
and touch
thinking
the
to
circuit.
myself, you guys are lucky to have this guy at the age you are. Maybe you should start complaining about how slow he is. At least he gets done.
Well,
You're right,
the
Doc.
thing
I had
is
a
he
cat
slow because he's doing the job right?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly
Okay.
what it
That's
is.
exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Because he's done some stuff for me. I don't think he's slow. He's efficient. You know.
He's thorough.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah. I appreciate an electrician to be thorough. Really.
Yes.
If I have to
Oh
mess
my
around
God.
with
I was watching one of these house renovation shows, and they opened up the walls, and all the wiring in the house was connected to extension cords in the walls.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Like, it was just like no real outlets, no nothing. Everything was just extension cords, and everyone was like, how did this house not burn down?
I feel like that's where I'm living right now. But
Yeah, I mean,
oh gosh. That
everyone
is scary.
was hard. Yeah, really. You know, that someone literally thought, I don't need no goddamn electrician with their fancy certifications, you know, to
And all
do
that
this.
electricity.
You know,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's scary.
they're gatekeeping electricity.
All
Don't
that
say
damn
that.
electricity.
Sounds like they're pulling an Edison.
Uh,
I show them.
Golly.
well, I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, Edison was a scumbag when it came to that. That's the reason why he took out so many patents. Was to gatekeep. Was literally to gatekeep his competition.
What's crazy about that is you had the guy working under you. He was showing you this stuff.
Oh, you see, the thing is, it wasn't just Tesla, though.
Yeah.
Like the filmmaker Molière. It's like Edison, when he did his first movie, Journey to the Moon.
Oh, yeah,
Edison actually made bootleg copies of that movie and distributed it, and it completely destroyed Moliere's career because he destroyed any ability for Molière to make money off of his movies because Edison would bootleg everything.
Wow.
Right. And the reason why Hollywood is in California, it didn't just pop up there. It's very specific because Edison held all the patents for camera technology on the East Coast. So Hollywood filmmakers had to move to Hollywood. They had to move to California in order because California didn't recognize patents.
Ah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's why Hollywood is in California. And it was because of Tom Edison. It was because of Thomas Edison. Because he was a patent troll. That's what it is. He was a patent troll.
Patent troll. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that.
That's interesting as hell.
Yeah.
And here I thought it was something to do with the weather.
No, you would think that that's why Walt Disney World is in Florida too. By the way, Disney claimed it was for the weather, but it was because Florida did not recognize unions.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that was the reason.
The amount of workers and construction workers he had to have on that project, he definitely didn't want to have.
Well, it was actually
what happened
he was extremely burned by his animators unionizing.
Yes, yeah.
Or at least trying to unionize before Disney teamed up with McCarthy and fed his own animators to the blacklist.
The communist,
that whole communist blacklist thing that he was.
The infamous red listing.
Yes, right. Yes.
Yeah, he was so hurt by that. He's like, "We're a family."
Yeah, you're a family as long as you do what Father says.
Right, as long as you let me manipulate and take advantage of you.
Right, as long as you do what Father says, we're a family.
Well, he was working on elitism because you had your lead animators and they had access to, he wanted to have everybody to kind of live in the same, place. He was basically in his own way having a communist community. And communism is only for rich people. They're the ones that get socialized healthcare and tax breaks and everything. It's like, no, communism is for rich people.
That's right.
Well, no, that's the thing, and that's the thing is, his lead animators had access to the good gyms, access to the good food, access to the their office and everything else. There was a lead animator, I can't remember what his name was, but he was helping some of the in-betweeners. They came in and stripped his office. Like, if you're going to help the in-betweeners, you don't get access to having a carpet on your floor. You don't have the good chair, and it was, and that's what kind of prompted it. Is like you had everybody trying to live under this one apartment type thing, but you were controlling it. If you were a lead animator, you were VIP.
Who did he think he was? Rich Buckler?
I'm just
don't even start me on Rich.
Because I swear to God, when that's kind of a memory that kind of remember. It reminds me of, we were meeting with a friend who worked with Rich Buckler, right? And we knew that Rich Buckler had a studio where he would he would get all this comic book work, and he had assistants that would work on these books with him, for him, however you want to
say it, right? Right, for him.
Yeah. And we went to the apartment, and to say it was a studio is such a misnomer. It's not even funny. What it was that it was Rich Buckler's apartment, and there must have been, like, I don't know, it felt like freaking Calcutta when you walked in the apartment. God. It's like you had like all these guys, these young guys on the floor. Like, I don't even remember, like, I don't know, 10, 15 guys on the floor, all drawing out pages, and they would pass, like, they were doing like comic book pages, like assembly style. Right. And they would all, and then it's like anybody, and then like if anybody walked in, all the guys would like look up, and they would start, instead of going alms for this, like, oh, do you have work? Do you have work? Do you have work? It was, but it was everybody was on the floor except for Rich Buckler.
Oh wow.
That was the studio. I mean, it was just like, holy crap. This certainly, talk about learning how the sausage is made.
Wow.
Around here, his name is not to be mentioned.
Yeah.
In Detroit, please. You'll get it for that.
Yeah.
We're like, no.
Yeah, he's because once you see that type of setup, it's like, holy crap, these are the guys that you're making your money on their backs, and you can't even give them tables. You couldn't even like rent out a proper space so everybody could work properly.
Golly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He couldn't have been paying them much at all.
Oh no, absolutely not.
He was paying them for just,
exposure. Yeah, it was,
Always when I'm trying to stream, there's some noise.
Yeah, well, yeah. Saturday is when all the landscaping happens. I
That's right.
guess.
That's the day you're supposed to sleep late. And that's when they want to do yard work.
Right? Yeah, they're supposed to be waking you up.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh.
It's like, well, but see, like Disney lived in this like fantasy world. Even this idealized America, he didn't even grow up in.
Well, that's in the end pretty much the definition of nostalgia. It's
Right.
kind of like a longing for a place that never existed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're right by my window.
Uh,
I can see them, even though I have the shades closed. It's still, it's a freaking leaf blower. What the hell are you blowing around in the driveway?
It's like, they needed a bigger.
Doesn't stop.
yeah, I know, right? Well, you know, that's the reality of what we do, I guess. Life goes on without us.
Uh,
At least it's not a lawnmower. Glad I didn't have to get out this morning because their truck is like blocking everything in.
That's like them doing road work around here. Just trying to get out. It's like I don't even know what you're doing.
I think it's working on roads. Is that what I'm doing?
Well, they paved it, and then they came back and repaved it, and then shoveled it up and repaved it again. And I don't
They
even.
want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. Paving.
No, like we got tax dollars to spend.
Well, they have new big mansions and suburbs around here, so Nita thinks they're trying to flood out. You know the.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get you out of there. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. It's not hyperbole. Yes, they're literally going to flood you out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the landings, huh? You think you're gonna live over here? Are you landings, huh?
All right.
I got a thing for you.
Well, and that's what got a lot of people in trouble during 2016 when we had that flood. Yeah, they want to flood us poor out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indie Comics Network has a daddy.
I don't understand that comment either. It must be her because it's not me.
I don't know. You're married to the mommy, so I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I don't know if you're married to the mommy. That worries me.
He only does what he's told.
That's
You know
it.
what? And you're a smart dude, Lanning.
gonna say
Smart,
that's
smart
me.
guy.
Well, like I said before, I don't run this network. I never say I do. I don't own this network. That's all. Yeah, Daddy loves you. Exactly. Her. I don't run this network. All I do is participate. That's it.
Daddy is now gender neutral.
Who is your daddy? Nita's your daddy.
Pronoun Nita. That's
Yeah.
it.
Pronoun Nita.
Oh, now I remember what I had wanted to bring up because
no.
last night I caught an interview with Anna Zhao on another chat. I forgot the guy, Nate something, right? The total interview was almost 4 hours long. I was like, no, I am not hanging out for 4 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was only able to kind of participate for an hour, but it's like, no, honey, I'm old. I have to go to bed. Right. So
Right.
So what I found, the thing that I found interesting, right, is looking at, so Anna was showing a bunch of her artwork, from her first cover that her first official cover. I think it was a Vampirella piece, all the way to the stuff that she's doing now. And what I really appreciated is seeing how much she played with style every time she did a cover. Because and even she like there was one piece where I go, oh, that piece reminds me of that artist. And she goes, oh yeah, that's exactly the artist I was trying to like, get inspiration from, and we were just kind of going back and forth like that. And what I really appreciated was the fact that that I guess she was willing to talk about the to show that that just because she's doing all these covers doesn't mean that she's not willing to experiment.
Right. Yeah.
And her style is a little different on each of these covers. And and because like just right now, these covers that I'm working on, right, I'm kind of channeling another artist, or at least like trying to get their vibe, and I have their artwork on my screen kind of like as a mood board.
Right.
And I'm just like kind of like experimenting with, oh, why do I like this style, and can I do something with it, right? And like when you guys do artwork, how much experimenting do you do, kind of like you see an artist you like, and it's like, okay, well, they do art this way, what happens if I were to do artwork that way too? Like, do you ever try experimenting with that? Because my because I'm trying with these covers, and it's like, and it's kind of weird seeing like how there's the things that I'm picking, like trying to experiment with stylistically, like I'm realizing this is not something I want to do all the time. Like it doesn't quite fit my style, but it's just fun to play around with it. So how many times, like, do you guys regularly play around with style?
I'm actually doing it right now.
Okay.
Messing with my style a little bit. I've been trying a few things recently that have been a bit different, like this per se.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And who is like, actually, like if I were to pick an artist that that I'm familiar with, that I kind of see in that piece, Greg Williams. But like, what style like are you kind of like experimenting with? Like, are you choosing an artist specifically to kind of like look at and say, okay, I like this and that, I like how they do this, I like how they do that?
Oh yeah, definitely. You take different stuff from different, like all right, so my basis of my stuff, believe people are like,
I guess I won't finish.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was actually studying two artists, Michael Turner and Joe Madureira.
Okay.
And that kind of hit it a little bit better, I think, for what I wanted.
Yeah, so my basis, my style usually is really, I'm old dude, so Jan Burns like the basis of my style. Right? So, but over time, I like some stuff Jim Lee does. But the thing that shocked me more so was starting to get into Greg Capullo.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, Capullo, his stuff is cartoony in all the right places, and I realized that my style is actually cartoony, and I can get away with that. But like you said, Daphne, I was just going experimenting, watching these guys' stuff, and it helped me kind of refine what my style is.
Which like I know that for. Well, actually, yeah. So do you do the same thing as well? Do you
all the time to the point that it drives me nuts? No, because for instance, like so this piece right here, it's not. If you look at the Grace's Magi cover, it's not the same type of style as I used on that one that's out there now. But I thought what's interesting is you mentioned mood boards.
Yeah.
Could you explain what a mood board is?
Oh, okay. So what I do, so a mood board, I first learned about this concept in interior design.
Uh-huh.
And what it is that you're taking like all these different inspirational pieces in order to kind of like figure out like, well, in terms of interior design, like what colors go together, what textures go together, what kind of furniture is going to look good in a space. And you're not using pictures of the exact thing, but more like inspiration, like kind of like, okay, we know. Yeah, it's kind of like it literally you're setting a mood with these images. So when I create a mood board, actually it's a temporary mood board on my screen. What I do is I just take like all these JPEGs of like all these artists that I want to keep like kind of like keep in front of me as I'm working. And I just cover my screen with all these different pieces. In this case, I have on my screen, I have an image. I have images from this artist called Martin Abel. And he's kind of like, I'm using him kind of like as a vibe check. Like, I'm not copying his work directly. I'm just like, okay, he has this particular vibe. How do I kind of like integrate that vibe into the work that I'm doing now?
Right.
Like when I'm working on my comic book work, I'll probably have like Conan pages all on my screen or ElfQuest pages all on my screen. And like I said, it's like setting the mood as to what I'm trying to get at with the artwork that I'm working on. So, yeah.
That's exactly. And, you know, I've really kind of just discovered doing that not too long ago. Not so much looking at, I've always looked at other people's styles and understanding and emulating styles, because really it comes down to it's not just copying. You're trying to understand why they made that decision.
Yeah.
And but what I have noticed is there's a significant difference when I actually, before sitting down to draw something or design something, that if I look at that artist, for instance, there's I just finished doing a book to help me, and there was one of Carlos Meglia did Spy Boy. There was only like 4 or 5 issues of it, but I kept going back to it to get an understanding of how I wanted to do my panels and and adding all that. And it really helped when I looked at it before I went to the page to kind of, I don't know, it kind of unlocks an inspiration. Maybe it's kind of like a cheat code. I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, sometimes the purpose of a mood board is just to give you that push, just to give you enough information to get through your work.
Right.
You know, I mean, sometimes that's all the only purpose that I need from it. But also, you know, but yeah, a lot of the times it's like, okay, these are the people that I really are attracted to their style. And it's like, how can I incorporate that? And again, it's different from tracing. It's not like I'm sitting there, you know, like just outright tracing a person's artwork and then just slapping a horn on top of her head. You know, it's like, no, it's like I'm filtering what I'm seeing through my experience, through my skill or lack thereof, and trying to figure out what makes that part of their style tick.
Funny that you say that, because there's an artist at Magic the Gathering who literally just put out some art that literally was taking someone else's art, then putting a vest on it to make it their art.
Right. Yeah.
They've been doing that in role playing for a minute lately, and the card games, and they've been doing that stuff. That's been a huge uproar about that.
Watsy's getting sued by the original artist.
Well, no, as he should.
Yep, Watsy deserves it. So
because that's not what I'm talking about. You know, it's like that because the thing that I liked about her playing around with style, right, is that the audience at large sometimes thinks that stylistic changes is an inconsistency when it's just part of the process. people keep talking about, like, I remember this argument about this girl talking about that she was drawing Disney style before Disney came out with The Lion King. And I'm like going, there is no Disney style. You know, it's like you look at Glenn Keane's sketchbook. Glenn Keane is the head animator. He was the head animator for The Little Mermaid and for Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And if you look at his and he was also he was the key animator on the Eagle from the Rescuers Down Under. He was the key animator. He was the key animator for Beast, and he was the key animator for Ariel. And if you look at those three characters, yes, superficially they're Disney movies, but they're very different. All three of them have very different design aesthetics that have to be animated differently.
Sure.
Yeah, I never would have thought that.
And if
Ariel
you look
and Beast.
if you look at his sketchbook, you wouldn't even think it was the same person. Because his sketchbook is not everything in Disney style. His sketchbook is all these very realistic art studies and landscapes, and it's just him being an artist.
Right.
And
I'm sorry,
because of his high level of skill, he can imitate whatever style he needs to take on for whatever movie he needs to work on.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. He got that muscle memory. That's what you get from doing
Right.
all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So so it's like, you know, like you look at something like Aladdin or Hercules, which has a very different style from Little Mermaid, but I think he worked on, I'm not sure if he worked on those movies too, but I'm pretty sure if he did, he was able to.
Well, it's like, look at Tim Burton.
Right.
He was an animator on The Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, I know, right? You know, and I think he also worked a little bit on The Black Cauldron as well.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. You know, and so it's like, so when Anna Zhao was talking about like how she played around stylistically, I don't know, I felt a little vindicated that it's like I'm not crazy, because the audience has a tendency to look at this and go, oh, if you're copying someone else's style, that's cheating or that's stealing or this, that, and the other thing. And it's like something that I've been seeing lately is like younger artists. Now, mind you, I'm going to only give them the credit that they're young and they don't know any better. But they've been literally saying, like, they would upload whatever basic ass drawing of theirs on the internet and then literally have a disclaimer on it saying that you are not allowed to use this piece as inspiration.
Yeah, fuck you.
See,
and it's like, honey, that's not how it works.
Art.
Yeah.
That's like the don't share my art. It's like, what are you talking about? Why do you want somebody to share it?
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it does not work that way.
Pretty much,
I mean,
every artist going back to the beginning of time owes it to the guy who drew it before them.
Right. I mean,
even Michelangelo sat at the feet of Donatello's statues and copied.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the way a master would train an apprentice, they had them trace their work.
Yeah, exactly. There was a book that I used to have called, what was it called? Oh, it was Titian's something. Oh, damn. I have the book somewhere. Or I had the book. I don't remember. So it was about Titian is this painter. I don't know exactly what centuries that he was from, but the reason why he was significant, because every master painter copied his work in their training. Like every master painter has a version of Titian's paintings in their portfolio. Because he was considered the standard to learn from.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, so it was just kind of like I don't know. It's like I just felt really vindicated how just a matter of fact that she was with saying that, oh yes, I was imitating this person, I was imitating that person, I was trying to learn this from them or that from them. And then it's like to then combine it with like all these young artists going, oh no, you're not allowed to be inspired by me.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I wouldn't
Just
want to be
laughable.
inspired by your crap anyway, but still.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because it's always the more basic the artwork is, the more defensive they are about
Right.
protecting it. It's like it's kind of funny. But
Sitting here drawing
yeah,
Toriyama style, and don't be inspired by what I'm drawing.
Don't be
Oh, right.
inspired by
Somebody
me.
else.
I mean, when you look at a lot of my art, I can never remember his name. I feel so horrible about it because he's one of my favorite artists. The artist who did Blade of the Immortal.
Oh,
If you look at my art, you look at his stuff, you can definitely say that I was heavily inspired by him.
right. Yeah.
I mean, he is one of the people I look to. When I saw his work on Blade the Immortal back in the 90s, I'm just like, this is my god.
Right.
So, and at that point, I was pretty much a Todd McFarlane clone.
Right. Yeah, we all end up there somehow, right? We all end up at Todd McFarlane's feet somewhere.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's funny,
still-
and I was going to bring that up because you're talking about imitating style.
oh yeah,
Is
all the image guys.
Sam Keith was asked, like the little tears in Gaun's cape on the Max.
Right.
And he was asked, well, how did you do it? Oh, I'm just trying to imitate Todd McFarlane.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like Todd McFarlane in that sense, but it just goes to show that that's why it's different for an artist than the AI bullshit.
Right.
Because
exactly.
for an artist, you're seeing through a different lens every
Yeah.
time.
And
Yeah.
also, we don't have photographic memory.
Right.
So
Um,
our interpretation of inspiration becomes completely muddled by the time it gets to the paper.
Right.
I have a partial photographic memory. Well, I did
Oh.
until MS.
Hey, Glenn.
Oh well.
Glenn's in the
Hey, Glenn.
John
Glenn.
said, I've done enough
John.
professional animation comics that I would be flattered by a young artist's influence.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Oh, hey, John. Long time.
That-
So it's just, I think it's just a misinterpretation. Like I understand, like especially now with AI and the whole like the literal copying, the literal stealing of people's artwork, right? And I think that these kids are kind of misunderstanding the difference between copyright infringement and inspiration.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Todd McFarlane. All of them took heavy inspiration from Jack Kirby and Neil Adams.
Right. Yeah.
Then you look at Dave Finch. He's definitely not a student of Mark Silvestri.
Right. Well.
Really? Come on, guys. But yeah, I mean, Dave fully admits it.
Right.
Right.
He was trained by Mark Silvestri.
Well, let's talk about the people who are influenced by Arthur Adams.
Oh God,
That-
yeah.
just-
Well, yeah, he just got J. Scott Campbell.
Well, I mean, it's like I went to school with Phil Jimenez back at
Oh, yeah.
SVA. I was in class with him, and I literally saw the birth of his George Perez style. Like he was literally drawing exactly like George Perez. Like talk about top tier.
Right.
George Perez is not an easy artist to imitate. And
No,
he
'cause I tried.
I mean, look, after I did one piece just imitating how he does hair, and I said never again.
Yep, same.
And he, it's like, yeah, he started off as a George Perez clone. But if you were to look at Phil's work now, it doesn't look like that. It's like I guess it's like he needed like the George Perez artwork was the base, and then for him to start finding his own artwork.
Yeah, you need an
finding his own
anchor.
style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta have an anchor. I mean, again, we first out here, it's something in terms of stuff we like that, brings us into. I've been drawing all my life, but I didn't really get into comic style. I was like 13 and stuff like that. So it was kind of like, man, wow, look at these guys. Because I looked at, I never really thought about the fact that somebody actually drew this stuff, right?
Right.
And then when that dawned upon me, I really started getting into it. It's like, oh man, these guys are amazing.
Huh.
Yeah, it's when I first started around comics, I wanted to do stuff like Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield and things like that.
Right.
And then I found comic books, and it's mainly because of Todd McFarlane. I saw Spider-Man #1, and I'm like, that is just amazing looking.
Huh.
I could see that. Let's see that.
Unless you want to get your feet game on.
Oh well.
No, McFarlane would drop
Everybody
me.
has a weakness. I mean, it's very easy to goof on people for that, but everyone has a weakness.
He got to
McFarlane
get
would
it.
drop feet. He did in
Yeah.
that cover. Also, he drew Spider-Man. He kind of had to draw his feet. He's flying through the air half the
No,
time.
he says he said, look, I don't know.
Huh.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
But no, the other guys. I mean, Jim Lee's on record of saying it's like, oh, the bottom. That's where the smoke and the rocks go, right?
Yeah.
Same with Dave Finch has said that too.
Well, I felt he's made a comment once or twice about that. Back in Image, this is how we used to do it. Anyway, but I think Liefeld said it when he was talking about it. It's like, but feet just don't look cool. Just, I
I don't know.
understand
Ask
that.
Quentin Tarantino about feet.
Yeah, for real.
Just
But then
saying.
again, if it's Uma Thurman's feet or Salma Hayek's feet,
He's all
yeah,
in.
maybe
Huh?
certain feet are cool.
I like Glenn.
Right.
Daphne once said that my art looked like Mobius. It doesn't. His looks like mine.
Oh yeah, that I remember that. That was really funny when he answered it. He goes, "Yeah, Mobius's look like mine." Yeah, that was funny.
Glenn. That's why I love you.
So have you guys like ever been inspired by and just to show like how inspiration works, right? What's the fastest something like met your eyeballs and became like completely part of your inspiration process? Like it was just so stunning or just so like the second you saw it, it's like it started immediately affecting how you worked.
Juan Jimenez.
Ah.
I'm a fanatic. I got everything that guy's ever done. And then, when Travis Touré, when I watch it, watching people improve. Nothing on this earth makes me feel better than seeing somebody who used to be at this level at one point, and then you see them later, and their art's just like, wow. And
No, that is true. Yeah,
totally
that is
agree with
true.
that.
Yeah.
it's like right now, all right, so we used to kind of not really laugh at him because he was trying to get it done, but Stephen Platt,
Okay, yeah.
man, I'm looking at Platt's stuff now, and I'm just like, man, I just clap every time I see that guy's stuff, man, because he's always, no matter how old he gets, he's always trying to push his skill level, always trying to learn,
Oh, Platt
I
stuff
find
really
that
inspired
impressive.
me way back when too. Splat.
I found that very impressive.
I still use some of his shading techniques, or add tons of lines till it looks cool.
Grim Grizzly. I think that's his name, right? Grimly, maybe.
Grimly.
He did he recently did that Pinocchio for Guillermo del
Oh
Toro.
yes,
Oh.
that one. I know who you're talking about. He's
But
great.
I knew who he was before that. Anyway, but just seeing his process and what he did to get his flow down first before adding any of the other was life changing.
No, that's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like sometimes.
So that's what I would think of, and because I think it's important. You can look at all these comic book artists and get inspiration from them, absolutely. But I like to also take in other people, considering I can't remember who did it. Scary Stories, the artwork for Scary Stories. I can't remember what his name is, but that kind of
Edward Gorey.
huh?
Did Edward Gorey do that? Because he was a big influence on me.
Oh yeah, it's like who had a Gashley Crumb Tinies poster?
Yeah.
I had a Gashley Crumb Tinies poster in my room for like the longest time.
I've been to his house.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's a museum to all of his art. It's
Uh-huh.
fantastic.
Uh,
I'm a big Norman Rockwell dude.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm a huge Norman Rockwell dude too.
Well, one of my biggest people that really
Stephen
kind of
Gamble.
inspired me, and he
Can't
was.
hear you.
Oh, I can. I guess it's the kids.
No, it was
Nita.
it was Nita. Yeah, she was
Right.
trying to say I found the artist's name. I said it. She's like, I said that. Like I could hear you. Your door.
Right.
So put it in the chat.
The one of the major artists that influenced me, and in some ways he's the father of manga,
Uh-huh.
which is Hokusai.
Hmm.
And
Oh, right. Okay.
I was able to actually go see an exhibit to his art recently at the Museum of Fine Arts, and it was just amazing. I mean, it was breathtaking seeing everything.
It was what was the tsunami that
The wave.
tsunami the wave, right?
Yep.
And then his other famous one, I think, is the dream of the fisherman's wife.
Yes, and that was creepy. That was very creepy.
Yes. Consider the first hentai.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. There was
Yes.
some of his what was it? Some of his students that they had their work there, and like I took pictures of their stuff. It was just incredible. I can't remember their names though. I have to go back and look at the pictures I took.
Uh-huh.
But their stuff was like just like, oh, I'm like completely taken aback by them. Just like, oh, I got to use some of these techniques.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Hiroaki Samura. That's the guy who did Blade of the Immortal. He was definitely, when I saw his work, it was just, yes, this is me. There was a kid I run D&D for had a Blade of the Immortal manga collection at D&D night, and I'm just like, oh, that's like my favorite manga. And he's like, yeah, I can see your art style all over it.
Oh, there you go. That's, yeah. You know, have you ever had people try to like peg your artwork with someone else's style, like it's an insult?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's usually
Like
somebody
what-
who's not an artist, but yeah.
yeah, and of course, usually, that's true. Yeah, she's doing a demented fraud. You know, yeah. So who did they accuse your stuff of looking like?
Who was it?
I've definitely gotten Hiroaki Samura. I've gotten that from people where they've said it in a negative way, and I'm like,
Right.
no, I definitely have differences, but I've gotten Mike Turner, which is kind of weird because I'm only mildly influenced by him.
Right.
And definitely McFarlane.
Mm-hmm.
Those
But
are
yeah,
the
but
big
they
ones
always
for me.
say it like it's an insult. Like I've had people go, "Oh, your stuff looks like ElfQuest," and I go, "Thank you. That was kind of the point."
Right, that's the point. That's what I'm saying.
It's like,
Well, I
like,
have
but I
conveyed the
could,
feeling I wanted to feel.
right? Yeah, I mean, it's like that was the thing that I didn't understand. It's like because I could tell that they were saying it as an insult, but I
Right.
couldn't understand why. Like honestly, it's like I don't think I've ever met an artist who didn't want to show off their the people they were inspired by.
Yep.
You know, you know what I mean? It's like if someone says like, "Oh, that piece you did," oh yeah, definitely. Like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
if you read the early issues of Tall Tales, especially, you know, but it's like if people were to look at my work, like, oh, I recognize that John Buscema piece, and I go, thank you. That's what I based it on. You know, you know, the fact that that on the vlog last night that Anna had mentioned, like I had mentioned that artist, like, oh snap, that looks like so and so. She goes, yeah, that's the artist that I was, you know, really, you know, like kind of like taking inspiration from. And I thought that was fun to find, you know, to see, you know, to hear, and yeah, I've never heard
it's
an artist.
validation for her, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's like, oh, I'm getting it.
Right, exactly. That whatever she was trying to accomplish, she was able to accomplish because I recognized the source.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I have never heard of an artist not be proud of not I don't know, not be. I've never heard of them getting upset. Oh, how dare you say my stuff looks like that? I don't know. That just seems like an amateur move.
Yep.
Well, it is an amateur move,
Yeah.
actually.
I got excuse me. My train of thought just derailed.
Huh?
No,
I had a cat. I had a cat that was having hairball issues that distracted me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's not now, which is good.
No.
And
He
I don't
did
have
not
a hairball
vomit
issue.
on the carpet.
Thankfully, I don't have carpets. But
Right.
yes, he did not vomit on my bed.
Yeah, exactly. Or in your shoe. Yes.
Yeah, I've had both of that happen.
Uh,
Not a fan.
but
yeah, no, there's definitely, I don't know. I wear a lot of my influences on my sleeve.
yeah. That's exactly what it feels like.
Oh, when I first started getting into Wolverine,
Uh-huh.
I used to draw him the way Buscema did
Right.
because he did the Wolverine main series that I was reading at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And
that cover, it's still iconic.
Yeah,
with
it's a very iconic cover.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a friend who said that at one point he goes, it's like what happens if Frank Miller hits Phil Foglio.
That's certainly a mix right there.
That was definitely a compliment I took. I was trying to go much more cartoony.
Right.
But he's just like, I see that that Sin City kind of Dark Knight thing in there. And I'm like, I'll take it.
I'm gonna run my scanner right now. It's gonna make some really horrific noises. So I'm gonna mute myself right now. So
you're murdering something in the back.
It literally sounds like something's getting murdered. So I'm just gonna mute myself for a sec.
Well, you're talking about Greg Capullo. When he started out, he was doing, some of the Spawn stuff and the
X-Force. He was a lot different on X-Force than he was on this. He really got his stride doing Spawn, man.
Yeah. He became his own during Spawn.
But he was trying to he was trying to imitate Todd. And he realized at one point in time that he had to start getting away from that. So he
did that in a big way, right? See?
Yeah. Oh,
my favorite book that he did was the original Creech stuff.
That Creech stuff was great. Yeah, it was real. It was great.
I think that's when he started to kind of branch out.
In that book. Studying his art, I copied so many of his pages in that.
I was talking about even guys getting better. I was looking at Travis Charest when he started to where he is now. Man,
he's like Dark Stars. And
man, that guy, on Dark Star, that guy, man. He just watching it, man. It's phenomenal. Because he also he did some understudy stuff for Juan Jimenez too, right? So it was just like, wow.
Yeah, no, his stuff has always been amazing.
Nice.
Someone that when I'm talking with Dave and he's just like, and you got Travis in the house, and it's just like he's making everybody look like a noob.
Oh, did Mark, did you see Jodorowsky's Dune?
I ain't seen it yet. My wife is she's running from she's still on COVID watch for theater, so we don't go anywhere.
Oh no, it's not. No,
it's not the new one. It's a documentary.
No, it's a documentary.
I've seen the documentary before. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Everyone's like, and they're like, oh, if you saw Jodorowsky Dune, you'd understand.
No, but just
okay.
What I just love is how he took everything that he put into his version of Dune, and if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have Meta Barons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, I think Meta Barons is one of my favorite books.
Me too.
I love Meta Barons.
Yeah.
I got everything that Juan Jimenez ever done.
Yeah.
My table right.
Yeah. Yeah, I have all the Meta Barons stuff. I love my Travis Charest stuff of it. So.
Yeah.
My first year in college, literally my first week in college, man, I went to one of the school stores and they had heavy metal there, right? So I'm looking through that. Let me check this all over that book. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It was
It's
over.
called perfection.
Oh yeah, it is pretty damn close to perfection there. Yeah. You know. And look, he's one of look, obviously there's reasons to hate COVID, but he's definitely
Yeah,
one of the
that
main
was
reasons I
definitely
hate
no,
COVID.
that hurt. That
Oh,
hurt,
good.
man. That hurt.
What the
When,
hell?
Oh, Louis Gossett Jr.
Well-
just passed away today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That hit kind of hard. I used to love Iron Eagle and all those other stupid movies he was in.
Look,
Hell, he was in the original Punisher.
somebody
Yeah,
who is from our generation, right? Well, he's this guy's a radio guy here in Detroit, right? So you would think that he would know some things. So he's like, oh, well, yeah, you know, in Roots, you know, Louis Gossett Jr. played Chicken George. I'm like, no, he didn't. He played Fiddler. He didn't play no damn Chicken George.
I was gonna say I knew he was in it, but I'm pretty sure he didn't play Chicken George.
He didn't
So
play no damn Chicken George. Get out of here. And the guys our age group too. I'm like, oh yeah, buddy, you need to go somewhere and sit down.
speaking of our age group, is anybody watching Shogun aside from me?
Oh, I
Sorry.
mean to, but I just can't get the stamina to watch TV.
Look,
It's
I
good.
just finished watching Three
It
Body
was good.
Problem, bro.
It's like the book. Well, it's like the original. It doesn't share a lot with the book.
Right.
What?
Oh, okay.
It shares
Well,
enough with the book, I should say.
how? Because I have to admit, though, I had to DNF the book. I couldn't finish the book. I guess in the end, it wasn't my thing.
Well, the book is really, really long. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a 50-hour book when that was
And it's
like
dense
not
too.
the
It's
thing.
super dense.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
heavily goes into Japanese culture, and it's actually pretty accurate.
But if like the show is more like the original miniseries, maybe
no, it's quite different from the
it's
original.
quite
miniseries.
different. But it's not. Because the book I had a hard time getting through.
I just
Like-
reread the book, so
Uh-huh.
oh, Ninja Kamui. Yeah, I watched the first episode of that. I thought it was amazing. I have to go back and watch the rest of it. So Blue Eye Samurai was like the big thing for me lately. That series just blew my mind of how good it was.
Really? I didn't get into it. I didn't particularly care for it too much. It was I didn't
It's
like
not
the
my fault you
animation
don't have
style.
taste. Not my fault you don't have taste.
Well, I guess
That's
for
what
me,
Jose says.
when you get to just continually revenge plots, it just kind of gets stale for me.
Oh, see, I love revenge arcs. So
Oh,
and there's so much more to it. Oh, the subculture that's been brought up in it and everything. I just love it.
we all definitely get something different out of everything, don't we?
There's a reason why I like Tarantino movies so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man,
Blue Eye Samurai is literally a tribute to Tarantino.
man, my right partner despises Tarantino. I don't know what Tarantino did to this guy, man. He just hates that guy, man.
It's like a Tarantino. It's like, I guess you have to. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I can imagine that he might be an acquired taste.
Well, my thing is,
put it
when I got
mildly.
older, you know how you see things as you get older, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
at first, I used to be all in Tarantino. Then I started, some of the stuff he be saying, and then some of the stuff, you go back and look at some of his movies, and you be like, was that really necessary?
Right. Well, yeah, he's
Was that really necessary, dude? I mean, come on, man.
right. He's definitely over the top.
Oh, I love the fact that he goes over the top with violence. Actually, in a lot of ways, he does it now just to spite some people.
Right. Although it wasn't, I don't think it was like if you looked at I just recently watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that
that
movie.
one.
I love that movie. The ending always makes me cry.
The ending makes me so happy. It's like, this is what should have happened.
Yeah. Well, in the end, that's what he made.
Yeah.
And I really like that Quentin refused to have Roman Polanski actually help him with the movie. Like, I guess Roman Polanski tried to put in his 2 cents, and Quentin told him to fuck off.
And I know Sharon Tate's sister donated the jewelry that Margot Robbie was wearing.
Yeah, that she
That
was
was
very
actually Sharon Tate's
yeah.
jewelry.
This
I
is
know
yeah.
the Lee family wants him dead.
Well,
They want him. They
That's
want
the
him.
hope.
They want him bad. They want him dead bad.
See,
it
that's
was
the
a
thing
very strange scene. It was
I mean, that's the
Well,
thing I don't get. It's
he
like
hasn't
he
like
loves
me
Bruce
really.
Lee, and
He-
it's like if
To
you
an
have
extent,
any
he
questions
not
of it, watch
personally
Kill
though,
Bill.
but he doesn't like. Well, I think he might argue that point because I've seen him start saying some things about Bruce Lee that he really didn't particularly care much for him as a personal.
He might
On a
not care about
personal
him as a
level.
person, but I definitely know he loved his movies and everything
Well,
because
yeah,
Well,
but
the
I
thing
mean,
with
because
that
it's
is
Kill
part-
Bill has so many references to things. I mean, hell, it has the Green Hornet theme song in it.
right, yeah, the yellow jumpsuit. The
Mhm.
well, it's,
The yellow jumpsuit references a couple of things because there was a Bruce Lee knockoff guy that wore it a lot,
right.
and he was also a big fan of him. So the yellow jumpsuit represents.
yeah,
a few
it could have been a Last Dragon reference. I mean, it's really,
I kind of doubt it.
No, it definitely
I
is
think
not
I kind
that.
of doubt that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one, Daphne. On that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just a no. But I mean, it's like there's so many references to his films and things in the
Right.
first Kill Bill. Even in the second one, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff.
Well,
I mean, the
the
second
thing
one's
that
more
I
of a spaghetti
had,
western, but
yeah, the thing that I had read about that scene, about the Bruce Lee scene. But this is somebody trying to explain it, not necessarily what it was trying to accomplish, right? Was that up until that point, like Bruce Lee had been always portrayed as this like very unreal an unreal character. Like Bruce Lee himself was unreal. And what the movie was attempting to do was make him human.
yeah, in a lot of ways it was.
And and it's like, and I guess it depends on whether you want to believe that, to kind of believe that or not. Because I don't know if that's like a fan theory or that's a critic trying to explain the scene, but because I don't know I know that Quentin did apologize to the family. He
Man,
did.
his
Somewhat.
daughter,
He did
his daughter,
apologize.
boy, she's kind of hot. She's
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not a big fan of Tarantino. I don't really care.
No, so I don't know. Yeah,
Bruce
but
Lee
I do have to
was,
admit it was a strange scene.
I do like the fact there is no decisive victor, which in the original cut the original script there was, and Brad Pitt was like, "Oh no, we're not doing this."
Yeah.
And Quentin's like, "Why?" He goes, "Because I was really good friends with Brandon, and we're not doing this."
Right. Oh yeah.
There, back to Brandon Lee. Got it.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we went.
What a
Right,
good place
right.
to end the show at. So, we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. So let's start from the bottom. Daphne, let's
Oh well,
they can find you.
you can, if you want to see more about me and my artwork and the finished versions of these pieces that I'm working on, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly post to Facebook. If you are interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress, and like I said, the finished versions of these sketch covers that I'm working on, and you can also catch me on YouTube on my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art. And also you can catch me on the Indie Comics Network with Nina every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. If for some reason people want to continue listening to me babble about stuff and random facts. There you go.
Mark.
Yeah, you can check me out at imaginosworkshop.com. Check me out at dirtbomb at deviantart.com. You can also check out our manga show, not so much manga related interview show, Shining Spotlight. Just go here on YouTube, look for Shining Otaku, and then you'll find Shining Spotlight there.
Right. And Allison.
Well, you can generally find me here on the Indie Comics Network. I try to hang out on Sketchy Saturday. I also try to do the Sunday morning funnies with the guys there. And when I get to it, my own show on Fridays, Arting with the Alley Cat. But as of late, it's been very difficult because of, well, MS and people like this guy. This is getting in my way. But yeah, I'm on pretty much all the social media stuff, and yeah, that's about it. I'm still
All right.
Yeah,
No,
we're
just-
lucky we're this awake.
Right.
And as always, you can catch me right here on IndieComicsNetwork.com. Don't correct me. I know what I'm talking about. As always, tonight I will be doing Art Style Kamikaze, where we'll talk about unique compositions. Everybody knows about the rule of thirds, but there's other compositions that you can also employ to make your art look like you know what you're doing. And always, you can check out everything I've done at landingart.com. That's LANNING art.com. And follow me on Instagram, because sometimes I post there. So anyway,
that's
until next week.
So that's the rule of 2/3?
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.